Hey, good morning. What's going on? Not that you guys would even know it's morning. Dude, I could say whatever I want on these things. I could be like, it's morning, it's afternoon, well, I can't really say it's night. Maybe I could do some editing and say it's night. But I'm driving right now, heading to my therapist. I do EMDR, which is a therapy for PTSD, and I would highly, highly recommend. It was literally, without exaggeration, a lifesaver for me. I would highly recommend, if you or anybody you know deals with PTSD, to absolutely go check out EMDR. It is night and day from what I used to deal with. So I still go at this time to it, and would highly recommend it. It's not even the point of this video, but that's where I'm heading right now. I wanted to talk to you on the drive there about the fact that you cannot fuck this up. You cannot fuck up your life and your decisions and what it is that you are choosing to do. You can't screw it up. And kind of this dawned on me this morning, and I wanted to shoot a video, and this is the only time I have today while I'm driving, so just bear with me as I try to navigate the catacombs of the labyrinth we call roads in the state of Connecticut, which are fucked up. So here's the thing. You can't screw up life. There are so many decisions that we get faced with and so many ways of which we react to things. The only reason that we feel like we're screwing up life is due to the fact that we have this idealization for what it is that we want our life to look like. Basically the goalposts. It's great for us to have goals in life, but a lot of times what happens is that if your life does not look like what you've idealized, you live in pain. Typically, people spend their entire lives in pain. I personally have spent a great deal of my life in pain because the way that my life looked was so far from what I actually wanted it to be. So I was constantly having this resistance to what is and what's out there around me. And when you live in resistance, it literally creates like a mental pain that you sit with on a daily basis. So the reason that we sit in this mental pain and the reason that you can't screw up this life the way that we've been taught that we are is that life is an experience. And no matter what decision you make, you have an experience. Now, some experiences are better than others. Some experiences are much more desirable. But the very fact of the matter is that the reason you can't screw this life up is because of the fact that the way that we typically have been living our lives is as if it is all about not just the destination, but about the idealization of what is the journey going to look like as I reach such destination. So if you idealize what you think that the journey is going to look like, then you are putting a pressure, as it were. You're putting a pressure on yourself at every step of which you take on this journey in life. In doing so, you're creating a resistance to what is, because typically whatever it is that you're idealizing in your life, your life is not going to look like that. And it's not going to look like that by a long shot, especially not if you spend enough time on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and you see everybody else with their fake lives that they're projecting onto there, of which they do not live. And the reason that you feel like you screwed up or that you fucked up is that you're not looking at life for what it's supposed to be, which is just a large experience. That's all life is. And there's a saying about like you shouldn't shit on yourself. There's also the saying about you shouldn't should on yourself. Don't should all over yourself. The thing with should is that you should have this body type. You should have this much money. You should have this place that you live in. You should be able to, I don't know, get into a certain college, or you should be able to kick the drug habit, right? You should be able to do this. You should be able to do that. And on your journey, as you're shooting on yourself, you're putting these weights on yourself that nothing you do is good enough, and nothing is, it's really, that's just not good enough. And once you reach a destination that you thought was a destination, the goalpost, as it were, of whatever goal you've placed in your life, then you have to place another one because it doesn't feel good enough. For example, if we just take money as a measurement, when I was younger, I thought that if I just made 60 grand a year, it might have been 80, let's just use 80. If I just made 80 grand a year, I would be all set. I would be all set because the way that I lived, I was like, I would live like a king. I think those words came out of my mouth to one of my best friends growing up, that if I just made $80,000, I would live like a king. Dude, if I made $80,000 nowadays, I'd feel like a failure. And it's like, that's not to make anybody feel bad. It's just the level that I hold myself to nowadays, and what all the things are that I'm involved with, the goalpost has moved. And the thing is that when I hit 80 grand, I was like, holy shit, this is not that much money. Not with, if you factor in all inflation and you factor in a lot of the health issues that I had in my past and a lot of like the therapy that I do for like trauma and this, like that 80 grand goes away fast. And the thing is that then the goalpost moved. And I remember one year I was talking with my mother and I was like, Ma, I just crossed 100,000 for the year. And she's like, wow, that's amazing. I was like, Ma, I really think this was, I think this was in August one year. So I had a few months left and I said to her, I was like, I think I could cross 200 for the year. And I remember sitting there and being like, holy shit, I can hit 200,000. And I did. I think I made 204. I think it was 204,000 that year. And once again, it wasn't good enough. And it wasn't good enough because, number one, I have very lofty goals for my life, which is fine, but it wasn't good enough because I wasn't enjoying the journey. I wasn't enjoying what I was actually doing, what I was undertaking. It was just about trying to obtain this goal, this idealization for the amount of money I wanted to have, the kind of life I wanted to have, the whatever I want to have. And it's always good to have these goals, but the fact of the matter is you may never reach them. And that's where I'm going with this video, because for a lot of people out there, you're never going to hit your goals. Hell, for example, I may not even hit my therapy appointment. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'm coming up on a very, very, very long line of traffic right here, and everything is slowing down, and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be incredibly late. Oh, was I having you guys stare at the ceiling? I might have. I don't know if this helps. I don't know if you can see. I don't know if you want to look at cars, but all right, now I'm stopped. So, or I'm going like 10 miles an hour now. So anyways, the point is, you may never arrive at your goals. And the fact of the matter is that if you can wrap your head around this one concept, it'll change your life. You already are at your goal. It's just the goal that you've been living for is incorrect. And what I mean by that is that the goal of which you've been living for is to reach places, but the actual goal of life is to experience and to make memories. It's basically it. The experience of life is the goal. So it's, for example, this idealization of who you should be with. You can't control other people, but did you have the experience with the person of which you were with? There's exes of mine, I miss them dearly, some of them. And we had some really good times together. We may not have fit. We may not have been like perfect fits, and that's why we're not together nowadays. But the fact of the matter is that I don't regret the situations that I was in, and they were experiences. The goal was already hit in the relationship because it was experiences of which to grow from. The goal in life is simply to accept whatever it is that's going on. Not that it's okay, but you have to accept it for what it is, that you are where you are, and that it is an experience. Some experiences are good, some experiences are bad. It's just the label of which we put on them. The interesting thing, though, is that a lot of bad experiences later on in life somewhat become good experiences, because from bad experiences you typically learn way more than you do from a good experience. For example, if you say something to somebody at a bar and they're like, oh yeah, you're funny, haha, but if you say something and then someone punches you in the face, you're probably going to learn a hell of a lot quicker from the guy that punched you in the face. When you have bad experiences, you learn very fast. When you have tough times in your life, you grow exponentially. But no matter what that you're doing in life, you are experiencing things. And the fact of the matter is, you may never reach your goal. And I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, I'm going to shoot a video about this, because you can't screw up your life. You can only have experiences of which are not comfortable. That's the only thing of which you can really get to in life. And I know I'm making light of some situations that you can be in, but at the end of the day, if you can wrap your head around that and not should all over yourself while you are trying to better your life and while you're trying to have a better experience, and instead start looking at life like it's a fully interactive video game of which you're just the main character. You're doing the best that you can. You're learning from the bad experiences. You're enjoying the good experiences. If you could make that the goal of your life, it'll change your life. Still have goals, still move forward, still do what you need to do. But if you can wrap your head around that, then you can't screw up. And this came because I had to let somebody go this morning from my company. And I really loved this guy dearly. I mean, me and him were like super, super tight. But the fact of the matter is that when it came to a work environment, he didn't respect the work environment. And he didn't treat it well. I mean, not only was he not hitting any of our numbers, but he was like not even showing up for like meetings and such, but would always have all these excuses. And this has been going on for like 4 months, okay? When I let somebody go, there's typically a reason. But I had to let this guy go, and he was getting all fired up with me. And I started to feel, inside of me this agita, this thing that just was welling up. And I was like, I don't like how I feel. This is like, I didn't want this to be combative or like confrontational. Like, I'm letting the guy go because you haven't done anything for 4 months. Like, I don't know I've been pretty patient. So, but then I sat there and I was like, why am I getting so fired up? This is just a conversation. And then I realized it was because, once again, I wasn't looking at life like it's supposed to. This is just an experience. But I have an idealization of how I wanted it to play out. And I wanted it to play out in this, amicable way of parting ways, so that we could preserve the friendship and that everything would be fine from there. And the fact of the matter is that it's just an experience. And it's just an experience to learn from. And, I can take whatever lessons I desire to from the interaction. But the fact of the matter is, there's no reason for me to get so fired up, so stressed out, or so frustrated with the conversation that we were having, because it's just an experience. And when I sat there and I realized that, and I kind of came to like more of like a Buddhist piece of mind in that scenario, because of the fact that I now accepted it for what it was, and it's just an experience, I was more at peace of what is, which is, all right, this guy's fired up. Well, okay. I don't know. I feel at peace with what I did. And if I feel at peace with what I did, okay, cool. Now, if I didn't feel at peace with what I did, well, then I'd try to do something about it. And if I could do something about it, then I would. If I couldn't, then it's just an experience once again. And some experiences carry with them negative feelings. Some experiences carry with them stuff that you don't like. I don't like how I felt today. I don't like how I feel now. But an acceptance of what it is turns the dial from like an 8 or a 9 down to, I don't know. I'm still bothered, but it's like a 1 or a 2. It is what it is. I love the dude. Hopefully we have a relationship in the future, but he can't be with the company. okay, this is just the experience of the morning. And the last thing that I want to share is that the reason it's so important to wrap your head around looking at life like this as experiences specifically is because when I say you'll never reach your destination, I want to share a quick story with you. There's a guy, he was basically like a brother to me, and I made a YouTube video in memory of him. It's on this channel, and I think it's called In Loving Memory of Rico Baldino. You could look it up on this channel, but the end of that video, when things turn funny, because the beginning it's somewhat sad, just to let you know, but when the end of the video turns funny, Rico and I had this like thought. His last name was Baldino. My last name is Kikak. And we had this thought about creating this like web series or something like that of Kikino and Balkak. We basically combined the last names of both of us together. And the adventures of Kikino and Balkak was supposed to be like this like comedy thing and whatnot, because every time we were together, we were always laughing. It was always fun times. It was always hilarious. And the concept of the adventures of Balkino and Balkak was for us to get so internet famous and make so much money that we were going to go to Hawaii and we were going to hike the Nepali coast and we were going to do all like skydiving and jet skis and all this stuff out there, and we were going to film the entire adventure of like us getting out there and all the stuff that we were doing and this, that, and the other. Well, it's a story, it's a much longer story for another day, but Rico died. And you never know how someone's gonna hit you when they die, because it's amazing. Him and I were not over the top, especially close, but I did look at him like a brother to me, and it hits me every so often. And in fact, yesterday, it hit me hard, and he died from a heroin overdose, and I was listening to the song by 3 Days Grace called Painkiller yesterday, and it threw me into a really rough mood, and I was literally crying. I had to hide away from my team for a little bit and start the meeting late because I was in an office by myself trying to pull myself together enough to stand in front of everybody and do what I have to do. It still hits me. The thing is that our plan, our goal, our destination was to get to Hawaii, was to become like internet famous and all this kinds of stuff. I thought we were funny. But the fact of the matter is that wasn't to be. And when he died, it devastated me. I was a very unfunctional mess for like almost 2 weeks straight. I was devastated when he died. And the thing with that, though, is that if I was living specifically for the destination of getting to Hawaii with him, well, I would never have enjoyed the times that we had. I would never have really enjoyed the experience of what him and I shared while he was here. And that applies to so many places, because the fact of the matter is tomorrow is promised to no one. And on that day, it was not promised to Rico. And unfortunately, I never saw my friend again. I've gotten little signs, though, here and there that he's still around. But the fact of the matter is that you can't live life for the goals. You have to live life for the experiences. You have to live life of the steps of the journey. You have to be gentle with yourself when you're in experiences of which you feel are completely incongruent with who you are and where you want to be. But you have got to wrap your head around this concept that you're not failing in life. You're just having an unpleasant experience. because the experience is not going to last. The experience will not be forever. And in fact, the goal may never appear. So if you're going through a lot of stuff trying to reach your goals, just remember you've already obtained them, because the goal of life is to experience things. So, I had this thought this morning. I want to share this with you all. I hope that this video kind of like sheds some light on things in life and maybe helps some of you. I'm trying to upload more. When I say that, it's like once every month or so. But, if you enjoy this kinds of stuff, leave a like. It's helpful for me to come up in search results, and leave a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are on things. And hey, subscribe. I'm making a lot of videos like this, but just really wrap your head around this concept that you can't fuck this up. You can't fuck this life up. Because even if you end up in circumstances that you don't want to be in, the fact of the matter is that you're doing exactly what you need to do, what your spirit or soul needed you to do at that time. And now you're just having the experience that follows. Regardless if it's a good or a bad experience, life is about experiences, and that is it.